What up, though, y'all? We here with another Raptors recommendation, and oh boy, Sand Raptor has recommended a doozy for us this week. It is Timeless by the artist Goldie. If you don't know who Goldie is, first off, where have you been? Second off, he is a DJ, a producer, started off as a graffiti artist. He's a visual artist. He's an actor. He was in 007, The World Is Not Enough.
Delighted to see you. After you. No. After you. I insist.
He was in one of my favorite movies, Snatch.
Bad boy? So?
Easy.
Nah. It's a moissanite.
A what a night?
A moissanite is an artificial diamond, Lincoln. It's Mickey Mouse, mate. Spurious. Not genuine.
He was produced on the Spawn soundtrack, which is a really good soundtrack, by the way. I might have to do a video on movie soundtracks. Stay tuned for that. And he was also on Fabulous's Summertime Shootout 2 mixtape / album. He's been across the board for years, 30 years now. He's been going hard, boy. He is one of the most biggest inspirational figures in drum and bass and jungle. He took the industry from being like kind of like cartoonish and not serious to being raw, rugged, serious, powerful. He's accredited to that. He gotten awards and opened up doors for many drum and bass artists afterwards. So no matter what I think about this album, know that he is such an important figure to the industry. I am judging this album made in 1995. Really, it was made earlier in the 90s, but this is when it came out. I am judging this album made around then as if it was released today, and how does it hold up? Which isn't fair, but that's how I have to judge it based off of how I would like to listen to it today. Craziest fact about Goldie is that he invented time stretching. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it says online, and that by multiple sources are saying that he didn't invent it. He made it popular. And he may accidentally invented it, you know? It was an old hardware console he was using back in the day, and it ended up being an accident that this just kind of happened. If you don't know what time stretching is, it is when you have an audio waveform. Normally, when you increase the pitch, that audio form gets shorter in length, in time. And when you lower the pitch, it gets longer. Time stretching is making it shorter or longer without changing the pitch of the audio form. This is something that's done commonly in digital audio workstations like Acid Pro automatically. Also done in Propeller Head's Reason recently, not the older versions, but the more recent versions do it automatically. So that's crazy that he just invented this by accident. And that's the craziest fact. That it was crazy to learn that he was in Snatch and that I'd seen him without even knowing it. But learning that he is a big reason behind time stretching is crazy to me. But let's get into the album, man. Timeless, 1995. I'll also be talking about the remixes and Inner City Life, because Inner City Life was actually his biggest song and his breakout song, but originally was meant to be on Timeless. Instead, we have like two different versions of Inner City Life at the end of the album. Let's get it, man.
Dropping gems, a clumsy jeweler with Parkinson's. The time my thoughts are so wrong, I cannot defend. But actions matter, no reaction to blood splatter. None to the pain, hoping the chains are for the better. Context of things, maybe freedom is the death away. Ain't no tomorrow if you're still thinking about yesterday. And looking back, my shoulda, coulda, start to elevate to the forefront of my brain as I meditate.
First thing I noticed about this album while listening to it is that it's very cohesive. It's got vocals throughout the whole album done by Diane Charlemagne and Lorna Harris. I like Lorna Harris's, what he did with Lorna Harris, because they're both incredible vocalists, right? But I like what he did more with Lorna Harris's vocals than with Diane Charlemagne, who's the more popular one out of the two, because she was on Inner City Life, the most popular song that Goldie has pretty much ever done. It was his breakout song, his most inspirational song too. So I like Lorna Harris vocals a little bit more. She's on my favorite song on this album, which is State of Mind. State of Mind is an incredible song, not necessarily a drum and bass song. It's kind of like, it's just a vibe, man. It's very like kind of 90s R&B at like a drum and bass tempo. You know, I'm definitely feeling it. I kind of 90s electronica, I would say. But without the big drums in there, it's kind of just leaves it open to be whatever genre you want it to be. And I like that about it because it's kind of refreshing song in the mix of other drum and bass songs, you know, especially after Adrift, which I didn't really like the vocals on there. I think that's done by Diane Charlemagne. Not that I didn't like the vocals. I didn't like what he did with the vocals, the production around the vocals, because that's what it seems like. It seems like there was a vocal and he kind of produced around it. That's what it sounds like to me. Or maybe it just got remixed into remix hell, you know, where you just keep on mixing stuff and keep on changing things to the point where the original might have been better than the end factor. And then there's The Sense of Rage. That's a song with 6 minutes of very little changes, one subpar breakdown, bare bones drum and bass. It's like they're building up to something that's never coming, you know? And that may sound harsh for such a iconic, quote unquote, timeless record, but I mean, I have to be honest about what I'm hearing now in 2025 standards, you know? Is it really truly timeless? Probably not. But I might get some hate from the DMB community on this one. I ain't gonna lie to you. Then there's Ja, the Seventh Seal, mixed by one of my favorite artists, Dillinger, man. Goldie paved the way for Dillinger. My opinion, I think that's 100% true. But I love what Dillinger did with the mix here. He's recorded for Metalheads and for Goldie before as well, so they're very much like this. But you know, I still wanted to point that out, that I think Goldie really paved the way in what he did for Dillinger to do some things with his career. I think it's a standout track due to it being so different from the rest of the album, probably because it's mixed by Dillinger, not by Goldie. Then there's Still Life. I love the chords, the pads on here, the ethereal atmosphere, dated drums in the beginning, but when you get into the DMB drums, those aren't dated. Just like there's like this Phil Collins kind of vibe on the drums at one point, you know, doop 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 doop, you know, like kind of those type of sounds where it's like has like the bell from like the 808 drum machine or something like that, you know, where you really notice it, you know, that is dated. So that's on there, but that doesn't really bother me. It's just something that's, once again, this was made in 95, man. And you can tell in a lot of ways it was made in 95. Then Angel, more vocals by Diane Charlemagne on here. I had heard this before and I didn't realize it because I didn't really listen to Timeless, the album, before. But I had heard cuts, so I had heard this before. And yeah, it was decent vocals leading to fire DMB build up at the end. I'm definitely feeling this song right here. The rest of the tracks are kind of in the background for me a lot of times. I mean, they didn't really stand out. You know, I didn't have anything good or necessarily bad to say about them. They're kind of your standard drum and bass tracks, and they're really lacking a lot of build-up. They're lacking the drops, of course, because that wasn't a big thing. But vocals being throughout the album, I think, is great. But I think that it doesn't necessarily mesh very well with what he's doing production-wise. So that's something to keep in mind here. Before I get on to the remixes, I just want to say that this album uses every trick in the DMB book at this time, with sweeping 90s electronica vocals throughout the album, you know? So, like, every trick in the DMB book that existed or seemingly created, maybe by Goldie himself at this time, is why other people started doing it after this, is being used in this album, and I love that about it. So, it is very much a drum and bass album, even though it has outside influences, multi-genre tracks. It's still a drum and bass album at the end of the day, jungle album at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling it. Now, the remixes. Now, there is a remix version of this album done, I think, a couple years ago or so. So that's very much recent. And you can tell that it's more recent due to the tricks and trades used in these remixes versus what they originally came out as. But I wish he would have done a remix of every song just going throughout the line. But no, instead of that, they pick, the favorite songs that I kind of talked about already. And notice that I think the only one they have that I didn't really talk about is Chemistry, but there's 6 Inner City Life remixes on this remixed album. 6. That's crazy. Why do we need 6 of them? They sound different, so you kind of don't notice sometimes. Some of them are like, this is really done with Inner City Life? Like, I can't even tell. But like, 6 Inner City Life remixes? Why? There's 3 Chemistry remixes. There's 3 Angel remixes. There's 2 State of Mind remixes, both being really good. I love, there's one Ja remix. There's one Sensual remix. So I didn't talk about that track. And one Still Life remix. And those are the remixes. And I feel like if you just would have done every song, I would appreciate it a little bit more than have to comb through 6 different Inner City Life remixes. 6 is just too much, man. The Chemistry ones sound different at least, But like having 6, that's like, I know it's your biggest song. I know it's your most influential song, but good Lord. So all the Angel remixes are done really well, bringing up to the standards of DMB to this time. And I love all the Angel remixes. Complete fire. The Still Life remix ruins the harmony of the original one. It takes the original one and be like, oh, what if we made it not harmonic? What if we ruined it a little bit? I thought done horribly. And I think it was the worst song on the remix album. Ja remix also isn't as good as what Dillinger did, but I'm a fan of Dillinger, so there's that. State of Mind remix is my favorite on here once again because it puts the D&B elements into this track. I think this should have released originally just like this with some D&B behind it, because it really would have been that what you needed to make it drum and bass. And in the original album, it's like this song that sticks out that isn't drum and bass among all these other drum and bass songs. This puts the drum and bass in there. And there's also instrumental hip-hop version of State of Mind, also done really well. I kind of miss the vocals on there. There's no vocals on there. And, I know I've talked some ish about the vocals on this album, but I do love Lorna Harris and what she does on You and Me and State of Mind. And then the Chemistry remixes are the most different. They're out there, bro, and definitely brought up to the standards of today, but there's insane version of it. Like the one done by the One Mind remix to Chemistry is my favorite one because it's just insane. I love it. And the sound choices are crazy. The patch choices are crazy. The song structure is crazy. Just totally different than I would have thought it was going to be. But overall, after listening to the album 3 times to a 2-hour-long album, I gotta say that I found myself just, don't press the skip button, don't press next, don't do it, no, bad. So that's what I found myself doing a lot. And I just have to be honest about that. As someone with ADHD that could factor in, someone who's more accustomed to the standard sizes of songs coming from a hip-hop standpoint, and generally listening to a lot of music, but not a lot of music has 6 to 10, 12-minute long songs. I just feel that you don't need this. This is gonna garner some hatred from the drum and bass community once again. Don't tear me apart. Well, go ahead, tear me apart. I don't care. But you don't need 6 to 10-minute long songs if you're not gonna change things. If you're going to bring back the same drum loop that you had 3 minutes ago with only one thing changed, end the song, okay? I'm tired of hearing the 10-minute songs on these electronica songs. Like, why? Do you think that the generation this made in 95, but I'm listening to it as if it's today. Do you think that generations of today can listen to a song that long? No, not in this world, not in this skip fast living world right here. Just listen whenever you want to. Music is free, you know. You just like there's just no reason to have a 10-minute long drum and bass song, I feel, anymore, unless you're going to do a complete beat switch, which is one of my favorite liquid drum and bass genres is they do heavy drops, beat switches, heavy changes, it keeps it fresh, you know, but if you're not going to keep it fresh, why are we doing such long songs? So that's something. Another con in this album is that it's extremely dated. To say that this album is timeless is pretty ironic because it is not. It doesn't hold up very well to today's standards, if you ask me. But it is, once again, I just got to reiterate the pros of this album. It is a complete staple in the drum and bass industry. Things that happen on this album influence others to do things differently in the drum and bass and jungle industry. The awards that this album got opened doors for artists for today, even. You know, it all comes back to Goldie in a lot of ways. So, and I gotta say that I've listened to Goldie. I'm familiar with him. He's a great artist. I love what he's done over the years. He makes stuff now that sounds great and sounds current and sounds awesome. But listening to his original album is just a little hard for me. And because of that, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. And it's probably one of the lowest other than the 2 out of 10 King Combs, P. Diddy's Son album that was done with Kanye. Probably one of the lowest scores I've given an album. But that's just because it's so incredibly long and so incredibly dated that I can't give this album above a 5. Let me know what y'all think, man. Do you hate me now? Do you let me know what y'all think about Goldie, about the drum and bass industry going on today. Do you think that there's still a place for drum and bass going on today, or is it just tech step now? Is it just is there a place for jungle still today? You know, let me know what y'all think, man. Peace.
Goldie! Yes!
Yeah, well, what can I say, man? Firstly, I'd like to say about a music that's been taken the wrong way a lot of the times over the years, but I really want to especially give this award to Groove Rider, who's been supporting me for the longest, man, because British DJs in the country have been supporting black urban music for a very long time, from the hip-hop community, from the dance community, all over the world. And I think when you go around the world and see this music taking off and getting into so many other formats, I'm just proud to be British and proud to be urban and come where I come from, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just going for the people. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart and respect, yeah?